The question I have, because I really do have a good skill set in seeing good in people as much as possible. So the question is, how much of what she is the fundamental evil that Robert is describing, and how much of it is the unfortunate reality of the situation? So she found a man that had never been with anyone and was going to be appropriately vulnerable for that reason. So she recognized a good, I mean, I can call him a mark if you want to say that, if you were looking at it as a con man.
That's accurate. Yeah, she's a con man.
But at the same time, I'm not going to necessarily fault a woman for saying, I'm at the stage of my life where I'm ready to settle down and get married. I mean, she decided to do so at 25, which I guess is in some ways more responsible than many, and it's better than waiting until 35. So she identified at the age of 25, I'm ready to settle down. I have this man that really seems to care for me and can provide for me in the way that I want, which I guess is reasonable. I mean, there's nothing, I would never tell a woman, you should find a man who doesn't care for you and cannot provide for you. And that's not what you should be expecting. So that part of it we'll call reasonable. The other aspect, and here comes a little victim blaming, if you want to use that term, how much of this is Akaash responsible for? There is an unfortunate reality, and I do not wish this to be the case. We talked about this in a previous podcast, that if you're chasing after someone, the other person has a tendency to run away. And that I've seen men who complain endlessly about how lonely they are and how nobody wants them, and then a woman will want them and they won't want her, probably because she's so available that it doesn't interest him. And he, Akaash, is so supplicating towards anything that his wife does that it comes across as very weak. And while I absolutely wish this were not the case, that tends to be a turnoff for women. And the more you try and supplicate, the more you try and accommodate their bad behavior, the angrier with you they get. The less they respect you and the more angry they get. And I really wish this were not the case. I'm not trying to stereotype women's behavior. It's just so common. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. I would say I want to believe that there are women out there that the more a man accommodates anything that they do, including their bad behavior, the more she will love them. But I'm not sure it exists. I don't even think that this is narcissism. I don't think this is bad behavior on the part of women. I think there is something so ingrained at a primal level in the brains of humans and probably many other animals that women view this as disgusting weakness. If you do not stand up for yourself in even the most basic way, they lose respect for you and they're disgusted by you. I mean, this is also probably part of the reason why she seems to think that her co-host's husband is so hot. He just carries himself better. This man is not unbelievably attractive by any stretch of the imagination. He's not an amazing partner. He just is not disgusting her with weakness the same way Akaash is. And I feel for Akaash because I totally grasp this concept. Okay, let's say, for example, that Robert got really, really angry. Now, my default response would not be to fight with him and make him more angry. I'd be like, okay, perhaps we can calm him down and get him into a better headspace so that we can deal with whatever this problem is. So when your wife is upset, I totally get the idea that you want to be accommodating. Like, this is actually a very natural response to me. I would default to this as well. But for some reason, it doesn't work, at least not all the time. Maybe some of the time it works. Maybe in certain situations it's effective. But if it's chronically all that you do, that the more she pushes you, the more she rags on you, the meaner she is to you, the more you take it from her. And that's actually probably a better way to describe this. The problem isn't that she's angry and he's trying to calm her down and comfort her in the moment of anger. That's not the issue. It's that she's demeaning him and he takes it like a punching bag. And that weakness disgusts her in a way that I as a man cannot relate to. Now, to be fair, if I'm demeaning my wife or partner, I'm an asshole. That's just not appropriate behavior. That's not my hobby. But at the same time, if I were to do so, and it's hard to put myself in this situation because this is not my idea of fun. If I were to do so, I do not see her taking it as a disgusting weakness that only makes me want to pile on further. But that is such a common response from women in relationships that I don't even blame them for it. I think it is a core genetic programming that women want men that have at least enough strength to stand up to them. And when they don't, they're just so turned off and so disgusted that it gets worse and worse and worse and worse until eventually the relationship falls apart and the divorce happens that Robert's predicting.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, this is advice for everyone. Anytime anyone cuts you down, demeans you, acts like this to you, stand up to them. Say, no, your behavior's unacceptable, and I deserve better than that. That's all you have to say. And that's enough to shut down somebody who has this attitude towards you and views you this way. That's enough to interrupt this negative death spiral that he's in right now. Because you can literally see him just trying to, he's willing to use his tongue as her toilet paper if that's what she wants. That's how bent over backwards. It's heartbreaking, and nobody deserves to go through that. I wish I could sit down with this guy and go over drills with him just on how to be more aggressive in a polite manner to stop this. How can I get you to grow just enough of a backbone that we can stop this negative death spiral from getting worse? It's not going to improve. She's already cut you down and sees you as a sniveling coward. And that's, I don't think that's his fault. I think he came from a good family and had a good upbringing and had people actually care about him. And because of that, he viewed the world through rose-colored lenses. And so he just wanted to have a nice, happy family.